Do you think we have a leadership issue?
Cool. It's I'm spending a large portion of my time right now with the younger generation. And I would say they perceive we have a leadership issue. They don't see, at least within the US, they are leaders from a state, local, political level. They don't really see consistent leadership, transparent leadership. Um, they see attacks versus figuring out what we have in common, right? So I would say, yes, we have some opportunity with the leadership that we are presenting to our younger generation, and they are our next set of leaders. So we have a gap um, right now.
So the reason I asked the question is because if we have so many ideas out from the outside looking in at those organizations, being experts such as yourself and many others, we must see an opportunity in improving leadership styles. In not necessarily, I know I don't get involved on the government side, but on the enterprise side, a manager doesn't become a manager. We had somebody on the podcast is telling me that managers sometimes become managers because of accidents.
Yeah.
Get promoted. They don't have the right talents or skills, but you got the tenors, you've got the seniority. Time for you to become a leader now. And knock, knock, here I am. I'm a leader. Now, what do I do? Like a lot of people don't know what to do, right?
Yep.
And so it
Uh,
becomes, and that's that evolution in the career path, Diana, gets us to a place where now we've got leader at the top who accidentally been promoted all the way to the top. We still have the same issues. They're
yes.
not supposed to be a leader.
They haven't been prepared on what it means to be a leader. And I run into that frequently in scenarios where people are promoted because they've been there for a long time, but they may not even want to be a leader, right? They may be a great single contributor, and that's where their best fit is. And they're promoted, and then they're not necessarily trained on what that means. Like it is a very different role to lead people than it is to do a focused solo job. They're all
That's right.
different.
Right. Now, in your opinion, for today's organizations, for instance, what feels most fragile right now? Like, what is it in terms of leadership for an organization? Have you thought of that? What is the most vulnerable area in an organization right now?
I'm going to answer that from my lens, right, in terms of the organizations I'm involved with. But uh, it probably pervades most organizations. Communication or the lack of it is often one of the most vulnerable or critical areas within an organization. And I say that I watch when organizations they don't communicate what's happening and they find out their rumblings. Right? John Gordon has a great quote: "When there's a gap in communication, negativity fills the gap." And thus, right, we don't communicate. Negativity fills the gap. We start to see people leaving because they don't know, right? And that pervades the majority, a lot of organizations, and I don't know why, but that's an area I have a lot of passion on in terms of communication. Because if we want change or growth or a downtime, all of those things to go better, communication needs to be at a very high bar.